evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Welcome back to my channel. I'm saying good evening because it's like 10 o'clock in the evening for me, but I've got the house to myself, so I thought I would film this video. I've had some dinner and done some reading, and then just remembered that I really wanted to film this. So yeah, I'm sat with my new jumper that I got for Christmas. So this says The Long Way Home, Magnolia Parks, and it's got quotes all on the back. And I got the How Many Loves Do You Get in a Lifetime blanket, again Magnolia Parks themed. So that's just chilling here, keeping me nice and cozy. Obviously my lighting, I think I said in my last video or video before that, I don't have any fancy lighting or anything like that, so I just got my big light on, so it's probably not the best, but honestly I kind of love these super cozy videos when other people do them, so I hope you like it. And hopefully come into the new year I'll try and film some better ones with some natural lighting and stuff, but just working and things mean I've just got less time during the day when it's light to do things. So yeah, I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas. I loved mine. It was super cozy and wholesome, just like literally with my family, and my sister's boyfriend, which was really cute. I do really want to do the books I got for Christmas video. But what I'm doing is I'm waiting for, I got a Waterstones voucher, so I placed an order for some books with that, and I mean a little bit of my own money, but I thought I'd wait until those come in so that I've got a decent collection of books to kind of show you that I got for Christmas. I got so much bookish stuff, so like you can kind of see these two bits, and on my bed behind me I've got like this tumbler that says how many loves do you get in a lifetime. I think 80% of my presents this year could be related back to Magnolia Parks in some way, or the reason I love them could be related to Magnolia Parks in some way. So you could definitely say I'm obsessed. But yeah, so that is a lot of rambling to begin with, but what I'm going to do today is tell you my top 23 books of the year. I have read 48 so far, and I'm on my 49th now. I think and I hope I'm going to have gotten to 50 by the end of the year. So this is kind of the top 23 out of the 50 that I have read. So I'm going to go from the bottom up, so like my least favourite of the favourites up, if that makes sense. I think it does, but yeah. So at book number 23 we had Throttles by Lauren Asher. This is book 1 in the Dirty Air series. I actually think I potentially prefer this series, the Dirty Air series, to the Dreamland Billionaire series. I just think these, I don't know, they just have a little bit more to them for me that I really like. So I've kind of got into this world potentially a little bit more than the Dreamland Billionaires. They are not as long, and I think that kind of helps. They're super fast paced, and I loved it. So if you haven't picked this series up, I would 100% recommend it. I would also recommend it because book 22 is Collided by Lauren Asher. This is the second book in the Dirty Air series. There are 4 in total, and I believe 3 of them made it onto my top 23. So this was a really good series. I loved it. These characters were fantastic. They are all F1 racing romances where you follow 4 different racers throughout the series, and then obviously their prospective partners, and you see all the other couples through the books because they're all on the same race track and things. So if you like a sports romance and are well into, I guess, like hockey, I think hockey romances are the big ones. It's like hockey romances, or just like sports romance in general, and you would really love fast-paced romance, contemporary romance books, then I would 100% say the Dirty Air series should be on your list. Now, book 21 is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I read this pretty early on in the year, I think, and I think I gave it 5 stars. I believe most of these are 5-star reads. I am someone that gives out a 5-star read quite easily, and I think I may need to get a little bit pickier, but for me, if I love the book and I think about it enough, that's kind of a 5-star to me. So I loved this book. I know a lot of people aren't a massive fan, and it doesn't go down particularly well with everybody, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was captivating. I finished it really quickly. I think this was literally like a 1 or 2 day read for me, and I was eating it up and I didn't see the ending coming. Like, I didn't see it coming, whether that was just because I was really still quite early on, whether that was because I was still really quite early on into getting back into reading, I'm not totally sure, but I really enjoyed it. Thought it was fantastic. This one was book 21. Coming in at book number 20 is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, I think. So when I did my Goodreads Wrapped on that little website, I'll leave it linked down below. If you guys also use Goodreads and want to try it. But I think Lauren Asher was my top author because I read 2 Dreamland Billionaire books, 4 Dirty Air books, and then this Love Redesigned, which is the first book in the Lakefront Billionaire series that she is bringing out, and I ate this up. Julian and Dahlia, I believe that's how I'm pronouncing her name, but if I am saying it wrong, please correct me in the comments, were incredible. They gave those rivals to lovers vibes through and through, and I ate it up. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I was feeling super slumpy. Nothing was hitting right. I think I'd tried reading 3 different books and I couldn't get into any of them, so I put them down. It was depressing me because I haven't felt that slumpy in a very, very long time, but this drew me straight out of my slump and I thought it was fantastic. So book 20 was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. Book 19 was Addicted to You by Becca and Krista Ritchie, which is the first book in the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. So I'd seen loads of people raving about it and how much the found family is there, and that this is just a lot of people's favourite series, and I think it took me a really long time to read it because I'm kind of daunted by the fact that it's 10 books long. 10 books. That just seems immense to me. But I've since then read the second one. Didn't love the second one as much as I loved this one, but still really enjoyed it and I cannot wait to carry on the series. I definitely want to buy some more. I only read the second one recently. But yeah, Addicted to You by Becca and Krista Ritchie is book number 19. Book number 18 is You Said I Was Your Favourite by Monica Murphy. Now, she is my guilty pleasure author because they are so smuttily toxic. It's kind of insane. But I eat them up. This is her latest release in this series. This is the latest book in her series, and this is the Lancaster Prep series. I eat every single one of them up. I thoroughly enjoy them, but I thought this one was definitely her best romance out of them all. They are all hot, steamy, you are eating them up kind of romances, but they are definitely controversial, whereas I think this one was potentially the most, I don't know, I just ate this one up. I thought Daisy and Arch were super cute, ate them up, loved them. These covers are some of my favourites. I just think they're so cute, and for the fact that they are very, very steamy romances, you wouldn't know that looking at the covers, so they look pretty on my shelves and I really appreciate that. So yeah, book number 18 was You Said I Was Your Favourite by Monica Murphy. Book number 17 I don't currently have. but it is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. That one was fantastic, so much so that I recommended it to my mum and she absolutely loved it. So that is a top one, but that is like a second chance romance. You kind of got past and present perspectives. Super cute, so if you haven't, 100% check it out. So I was like totally wrong, because all 4 books from the Dirty Air series are on my list. Book number 16 is Wrecked by Lauren Asher, which is the 3rd book in the Dirty Air series. I definitely, you're going to see the pattern. I enjoyed these way more as I kind of got through the series. If it's not obvious, the last one was my favourite, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so this one was Wrecked, and I just thought the development of these 2 characters in this book was utterly fantastic. Not too much more to say about it, I think, because like I said in the other 2, like I've got more to say about the 4th one. But yeah, this was book number 16 of the year. Book number 15 of 2023 was Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I love this series. What is it called? I never remember what she's called this series. Maple Hills. Yeah, sorry, that took me way too long. But this copy is super special because I actually managed to get a signed copy from Hannah Grace. When I ordered it, there was some left, so that was fantastic. So yeah, she's been very much, this is a college romance, not a hockey sports romance. So this one, Russ is in the hockey team, but this one was very much set at a camp, a summer camp outside of the college. And I know lots of people didn't enjoy that about it, but I actually kind of liked the juxtaposition to the first book and this one being set somewhere else. So you kind of got to see a different vibe to the characters than them just being in college. So that works for me, and I ate these up. Loved it. Fantastic. And then we've got book number 14, and that was Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This was the 3rd and final book in the Knock 'Em Out series. 5 freaking stars. Loved it. And I know there have been quite a lot of complaints about this book and people not enjoying it in the way they thought, and I definitely can see where people are coming from. I wish we had seen a little bit more than just, like, we already knew that Sloane and Lucian didn't get on, and I do wish that they didn't focus so much on that in this book. But then again, I think that just helps their dynamic, and that is who they are. So I can see people's points about the book, but at the same time, Sloane and Lucian kind of gave me everything that I was hoping for from them. So absolutely devoured this. Probably only a couple of days to read it. This was like I was like powering through these like books at that point. So yeah, probably only a couple of days, and this is a chunky book. This entire series is made up of quite thick books, but they are some of my favorite covers, like, on the planet. They are just so beautiful. So yeah. So book number 13 was Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is one of my top series in general. So the Chestnut Springs series is 100% one of my top series of 2023. Elsie Silver's a new author that I've discovered, and there are definitely other books of hers that I want to get to this year, as well as sorry, I'm so out of breath, I don't know why, but as well as the new series she's got coming out, Wild Love, I think it's called. But yeah, Reckless was fantastic. So this is Theo and Winter. So this is a bit of a not pregnancy trope though, but like single parent baby trope. It wasn't as such of like it wasn't a pregnancy book in terms of you're watching how you kind of, I'm not describing this very well, but basically you see the one night stand that led to a baby, but then there's a time jump, and then you have the baby, and then you're watching them develop. So yeah, I think a lot of people to begin with thought that this was like a pregnancy trope book, but it wasn't. but it did fit super nicely, and Theo Silva was absolutely devastatingly gorgeous, and I absolutely ate this one up. I loved the whole series, but you can definitely see which ones came in my top books, and this was one of them. Then get to book number 12. We are wrapping through these. So that is the book number 12 is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So this is the other one in the Maple Hills series. This is the first book, and this is still one of my favourite books. Nate Hawkins is such a golden retriever, and this is reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So Stassi is 100% the grumpy party in this book, and Nate just chef's kiss. He's beautiful. I love the discussion around therapy and consent, and just the talking and communication that goes on in this book that you often don't see in romance books. And yeah, if you're looking for a healthy romance, I 100% think these guys are healthy. They are still in college, they are still young, they are still learning who they are. So don't expect like fully formed adults, because they 100% are still learning, as most people in college would be. But they just communicate so entirely well. They talk about their feelings. They talk to each other, basically, which should be a standard for most relationships. But yeah, this is fantastic. We then have book number 11, and that for me is Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. I absolutely ate this one up, and I think I was scared going into it because a lot of the reviews were quite negative about Xander, the main male character in this book. But I think the people that DNF this book and hate that heavily on Xander's probably haven't read far enough to like see the character development that Liz Tom Ford wanted you to see. And I think that is massive, and if you don't give the author the chance to show you their development of characters, you're kind of not giving yourself the chance to love the book. But I think unfortunately for me, the toxic guy that he kind of is in the beginning is annoyingly attractive. Probably that says a lot about my in real life dating life, not just my taste in books. But I gave this a go, and I loved him, loved the series, and have then obviously since carried it on, knowing that people said that even the second book was even better. But this is like in my top books of 2023, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. We are now into our top 10. So at number 10 is Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the final book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. Callahan Kane was like everything that I was waiting for, and I know some people really didn't love this book and the way this series ended, but I 100% did. Cal and Alana were absolutely beautiful people to me. I loved Cal and Alana together, and watching them develop with their respective families and just their personalities growing. I loved the setting being kind of like out in this, so Lake Wisteria, which is actually where Love Redesigned is set, so they're in the same universe, which is super cool. And these two characters, Cal and Alana, do make an appearance in Love Redesigned, which I ate up. But this was 100% my favourite book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and if you haven't read it, I do highly recommend the series. It was one of the first series that I read, getting back into reading this year, the first two books, and then I was absolutely thrilled when this one came out and arrived on my doorstep. Book number 9 is Redeemed by Lauren Asher. So the theme you can probably tell here is I really like her books, considering 6 of my top 23 are from this author. Really loved her writing. So yeah, this is the last book in the Dirty Air series, and by far my favourite in the entire series. Like, Chloe and Santiago gave me everything that I needed at the time. It's got one of my favourite quotes, that is, "You might be the hero in my story, but you're the legend in theirs." And that is a quote that Chloe gets engraved somewhere for Santiago, and they're just beautiful. I loved this story. I don't want to give too much away because we are obviously 4 books into like an interconnected standalone kind of world, so I don't want to give you too much about who he is specifically, because like you see him throughout the other books. But if you haven't picked up this series, I would 100% recommend that you do. They are the prettiest covers. They are the like gorgeous like matte effect covers, so they will look beautiful on your bookshelf. Highly recommend. We then have book number 8, and that goes to Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. The absolute brick that is this book. The Boys of Tommen series is 100% situated in my brain as one of my favourite series. It's up there with Magnolia Parks, and I clearly love Magnolia Parks because I'm covered in stuff. But yes, this is book 1 in the Boys of Tommen series, and I ate it up. It is 800 pages, and I devoured it in probably 48 hours. Like, that is how much I loved this book. Chloe, Johnny and Shannon are just, they are so pure and beautiful. If you're ever going to read this book, please check the trigger warnings, because it is not a fluffy, light romance. That is not what you're getting with this series. It is deep. There are topics discussed that 100% you need to consider whether or not this is a book for you. But if you check the trigger warnings and you think that it is a book that you can read and would enjoy, I honestly recommend for people that prefer or look for and enjoy a really deep connection romance where you are rooting for the characters that are in the book the entire time. The Boys of Tommen series, and Binding 13 being the first one, should 100% be on your 2024 reading list. We then have book number 7 as The Right Move by Liz Tomford, which is book 2 in the Windy City series. This book follows Ryan and Indy, and people were not lying on the internet when they said Ryan Shea is the definition of a book boyfriend. They were not lying. They were telling the truth. I recommend the first book as well, but I know so many people haven't enjoyed Mile High and have gone straight to The Right Move. If you're asking me, I say read both, but this one did come up just a little bit above, just because Ryan Shea is clearly someone that listens, and then his actions show that he has been listening to every word that Indy has said to him from the get-go, from before they even really knew each other. Like, acts of service, this man had it down, so there was no wonder that this ended up pretty high on my books of 2023. We then have book number 6, and that one goes to Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. So this is technically the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe, but it is the first book in the Daisy Hates books. There are currently 2 Daisy Hates books out and 2 Magnolia Parks books, and we are waiting on the 3rd Magnolia Parks, and we are due 2 more Daisy Hates books. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm fairly certain that's how it is. So yeah, this was Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I went into this not knowing whether I was actually going to like it. I think I was definitely on the edge, because I adore the Magnolia Parks books, and I'd read the first Magnolia, and then I knew this was the second one, and I just didn't know whether I cared that much about Daisy and Christian and Julian. I was wrong, okay? This was fantastic. And now, I haven't read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing yet, and that is not because I don't own it, that is not because I don't want to, it is simply because when I finished The Long Way Home, I knew I had a very long way to go until Into the Dark came out, and basically January, I'm going to read The Great Undoing, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, and then go into the Dark in February. That is my plan. But yes, so book number 6 was Daisy Hates. Book number 5. So we are now in book number 5. So we're now in the top 5, and this is another book that unfortunately I don't have on me. I have lent it to my mum, and that is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, the first book in the Knock 'Em Out trilogy. I'm sure you heard so much about this book, so I'm not gonna dwindle on this one for too long. But yeah, book 5, Things We Never Got Over, Knox and Naomi. It was beautifully written, like the perfect first book in that series. It fully drew you in. I think the 3 books do a really good job of having both romance and then a secondary plot that goes alongside them that really helps draw that story and the excitement kind of further along than just 2 people falling in love and seeing where they go. There is a lot of emphasis on the side characters in these books, and I love it. So yeah. Book 4 on my list was Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This was a first read from this author. I believe this book kind of blew up on TikTok, and then I saw quite a lot of my favourite booktubers reading her book. So I wanted to pick it up, and this is 100% a pregnancy trope book. So make sure that that is something you understand and are okay with before reading it, because I know a lot of people, I know this isn't a lot of people's bag, and that's totally fine, but just, yeah, make sure you understand what you're going into before you do. But yeah, I loved it. It has got some disability representation in this book. Bo is an amputee, and Winifred has a disability with her hand, and I just think this book has done such a really good job of showing characters with disabilities but not focusing the entire character on the disability. Like, they are so much more than those things, and I think Hannah Bonham Young did a fantastic job of making this a romance where she showed and brought forward disability representation without making that the only thing the characters were known for, because I think that can be an issue with some disability representation in books. It becomes the overarching feature of that character, and that's not it. They're still them, and they've got a personality, and they have other things about them that should be discussed, and I just think this book did such a fantastic job. So if you have been disappointed by books that are written with characters who have a disability, then 100% check this one out, and I hope that it does change your mind, kind of like it did mine. So yeah. Book number 3, Heartless by Elsie Silver. This was my favourite book in the entire series. Cade and Willa have my entire heart, and I think about them regularly. I devoured this, like, literally. They were beautiful. I thought the grumpy single dad. Do I want to be someone's stepmom? No, I don't. But this book kind of made it feel like it might be something that would be worth it. Let me just say the hot tub scenes. Yeah, that I basically am selling this to you. He's a grumpy single dad, and there are some fantastic hot tub scenes. You should definitely give this series a go, even if it's just to get to this book. This is book 2, so you don't have to read too far to get to this one, but I do recommend the rest as well. So yeah, that is book number 3. Book number 2, out of my top 2023 books, so this is the runner-up to my favourite book of the year. This one is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Another absolute brick of a book. I think I loved this one more than the first one, purely because of the development into Johnny and Shannon's relationship and how much more you get to know about their lives and their friends' lives in this book. So yeah, I think that's why I'd say that this one is definitely this one was my favourite out of the two and my favourite out of the series so far. I have Saving and Redeeming 6 on the way, and those books are about Shannon's brother Joey, so I cannot wait to read them, and they're currently on their way to me, and I can almost guarantee I'll eat them up pretty quickly. I don't know if they're the same kind of size as this. I'm hoping they are, but we will see. So utterly fantastic. This was book number 2. We are then at book number 1 of the year. So this was my favourite read of the entire year. I'm not sure it's going to come as much of a shock to anyone. Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home was my favourite read of the entire year. And yeah, I don't think that's shocking a single soul that watches these videos. I'm literally wearing a jumper with her on it. The only reason the first Magnolia Parks book did not make it into this video is simply because I read it in 2022. December of 2022, but 2022. So it could not be included in this video. But I've known since I read this book that this was absolutely going to be my top read. And I think there's a high chance that even though Into the Dark comes out in February, that is going to be very much at the top of my list. And I cannot wait to have my hands on it. So yeah. I'm not going to go too much into this because, let's be fair, I've spoken about this a lot on my channel. And if you're not already been convinced to read it by me or other booktubers, it probably just isn't your bag. But yes, Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark is my top read. So, thank you so much for listening to me ramble for probably nearly 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, about my favourite books of the year. I have loved this, and I don't know whether this is probably going to be my last book of the year. What was the other book that I was going to do? I was going to do my 5-star reads, but I think most of my 5-star reads were in this video, so that would be a bit stupid. So yeah, I think this one is going to be my last video of the year, which is absolutely mental to think. Like, I started my YouTube channel this year and I never thought I'd do it. I think I was always so scared of people laughing at me and making fun of me for doing videos because, I don't know, I just don't think I fit into the typical YouTube aesthetic. I'm just a girl who loves books and doesn't particularly have many friends to ramble about books to. So I guess I do that here, and hopefully maybe one day I have a community of people that talk back. That is the hope. I certainly am not wanting to do this full time or anything like that. I love my job. I work in marketing. I love my job, but I would just love a community of people that are like-minded and enjoy this similar kind of books to me, that want to talk to me about them. That is the goal for my channel, and yeah, I'm definitely going to keep posting in 2024. Can't promise that there's going to be a set schedule because I do work full-time and kind of film videos as and when I can, but definitely there will be more coming. Reading vlogs of books that I'm super excited to read, hauls. I've 100% do a haul. If all my Christmas books come, I'll try and get that up in December because that feels normal, but if not, I might just do it as a book haul in January, of like books that I've got ready to read in the new year or something along those kind of lines. So keep your eye out, and thank you so much for coming with me on this journey. If you are subscribed already and have watched videos of mine since I started my channel, I 100% appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to know some of your top books of the year. Did they match any of mine, or have you got some completely different types of books that you've enjoyed this year? If that's the case, drop them in the comments. I would absolutely love to discuss them with you. I hope to see you in another video soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.